As if I didn't ask this earlier. Anybody here know Whitey?
Never heard of him.
Bulger.
Who? Sounds like a bulge.
Is it really Bulger?
He's a fucking
Bulger?
crazy.
Would you rather be like Bulger or Bulger, like he's got a bulge?
That's a good nickname, I think.
Anyways,
Bulger.
first time I ever learned or heard about this dude, Whitey Bulger, was from the Johnny Depp movie Black Mass. This is Boston Notorious Gangster. Apparently, it was on the top 10 FBI most wanted list by '99 and was the most wanted person behind Osama bin Laden during that era.
He's pretty wanted, dude. He's a wanted man, that guy.
Well, in 2018, what had happened was he was like caught and convicted earlier, and apparently he was like an informant for the FBI for like 25 years since the 70s or something. The point is he eventually gets caught and incarcerated, and then in 2018 he is a high-profile inmate that is transferred to a West Virginia prison, where within that night he is bludgeoned to death.
Oh,
Right.
shit.
And then that was basically just like, oh, whoa, this is crazy. Like, there must be some hole in the judicial system and blah, blah, blah.
He got assassinated? Is that bludgeoned?
Bludgeoned. Bludgeoned is...
That means a blunt force.
Like somebody in jail was like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Steel pipe, yo.
Maybe he did it to himself, like Jeffrey Epstein.
But there's a twist. There's a twist that came out today, actually, in the Whitey Bulger
Came back to life.
murder case, where inmates at West Virginia prison knew in advance that he was coming, which is something that people aren't supposed to be privy to.
So why would they know that now? They're like, we knew.
How could they prove they knew?
So inmates at the prison where James Whitey Bulger was killed knew in advance that the Notorious Gangster was being transferred there, according to a transcript of a phone call between one of the suspects and his mother.
Wow.
Quote, we're getting ready to get another higher profile person here tonight. The student's name is Sean McKinnon.
And did he call her Ma?
Who told his ma on October 29, 2018, according to a partial transcript of the call read by federal prosecutors in court yesterday. McKinnon went on to identify the arriving prisoner as Bulger, the former Boston crime boss. His mother, Cheryl, says, stay away from him, please, according to the transcript. And the call took place at 3:30 p.m. that day. Bulger, 89, arrived at the prison in Hazleton, West Virginia, 5 hours later at 8:30 p.m., and he was found bludgeoned to death at 8:07 a.m. the following morning. Bulger's death was a stunning security failure for the federal prison system. The previously undisclosed revelation that USP Hazleton inmates were tipped off to Bulger's arrival raises additional questions about the Federal Bureau of Prisons' handling of its transfer to one of the country's most violent prisons. Basically, I think the Bureau of Prisons investigators, the FBI, everybody like that is like, oh, this is crazy. It's absurd that something like this happened.
Oh, no.
But it's also the most violent prison in the country.
It's the most violent, and somebody gave the information to these inmates that has now been proven in a 5-hour earlier transcript.
Wow.
He was sent to his death.
Yeah.
That's how they proved it, that they knew.
But do you think the FBI and all them were just like, yeah, let it happen?
Probably.
Or do you think they're like, we need to get more dirt?
Well, this former Bureau of Prisons investigator who spent more than 2 decades investigating inmates for gang affiliations and other potential threats to determine where they should be placed inside federal prisons said it's just absurd that this happened. He said he would have raised holy hell over Bulger being placed in the general population of a prison like USP Hazleton.
So he should have been protected.
Considering his high profile, everything he's done, both from like a notorious gang standpoint to probably also being an FBI informant, right? Like you can't.
So he's a rat.
Pretty much.
So they probably need him alive then if he's an informant too.
Yeah.
Or like, why would you send a rat to a general prison?
Yeah, yeah.
The second most violent in the country.
True, yeah. They sent him to his death. He did something wrong. Or they didn't need him anymore.
He was 89 years old. They didn't need him anymore, probably.
Oh, yeah. So there's nothing left but for him to leak.
And that's why we never had a podcast from him.
That would have been a good podcast.
That's on red.
I bet that dude got some crazy stories.
Damn.
I like listening to all the mob bosses like now coming out on podcasts and shit and coming out with books and stuff.
Really?
I think it's the most interesting thing.
Which one have you been listening to?
You know that guy Value Entertainment?
Yeah, I know about you.
He always does a ton of different podcasts with different
I know you're talking
mob
about.
But I'm learning about new guys that I didn't know before, because there's like the whole what's his name? He's based off of that character from that movie of so all the mob movies, right? Like the characters are based off of real mob guys.
Yeah.
Those guys like he interviews them, and then he interviews them and like asks them like, what was it really like in your day and all that, and then you can just have here like 1 or 2 hour conversations of like all this, and it just gets crazier and crazier, and the real life shit is way better than the movie shit.
Because they can't be too graphic in these movies.
Or it's also very straightforward.
It's-
like
yeah.
if you look at the Soft White Underbelly, where it's a corrupt cop from New York that was like a corrupt. He was basically like for like 15 something years, he was just collecting drug money from the people that he was gonna bust, and then he would take those drugs, confiscate them, and sell them to other dealers. He just did the same. He just did the same thing over and over and over for years and years and years. It's like interesting, but like also like that's it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's it. And then
like
all
a
the
dream
other
job.
cops knew he was doing it, and they hated him. But they didn't rat on him. They just hated him. It wasn't
You
until
can't rat on a fellow.
yeah,
you know.
it wasn't until he like beefed it with another officer over something totally different that they ratted him out.
Whoa. Wow. So the Justice Department last week announced charges against McKinnon and 2 Massachusetts men with mob ties. Fotios Freddie Gayas, a mafia hitman who was sharing a cell with McKinnon, and Paul DiCologero, who was a member of an organized crime gang.
How dare you get my name wrong? I'm gonna kill you.
Sorry. Speaking at a detention hearing for McKinnon on Monday, prosecutors described what the surveillance system captured inside the prison, providing the most detailed account yet of the circumstances around Bulger's killing. So shortly after the cell doors opened up on their unit at 6 a.m., the 3 suspects met in the cell belonging to Gayas, I'm gonna say Gayas because it's funnier, to Gayas and McKinnon. 6 minutes later, all 3 walked out, according to prosecutor Hannah Norwalk. DeCologero and Gayas entered Bulger's cell. McKinnon sat at a table with a view of that cell in the officer's station. DeCologero and Gayas remained in Bulger's cell for 7 minutes. After they left at 6:13 a.m., all 3 men returned to the cell belonging to Gayas and McKinnon, according to Norwalk. She said the government's case is bolstered by 3 jailhouse informants. One of them said DeCologero, who goes by Paulie, told him that Bulger was a snitch, according to Norwalk. Bulger acted as an FBI informant while he led the largely Irish mob in Boston from the 70s to the early 90s. Quote, Paulie said as soon as they saw Bulger come into the unit, they planned to kill him.
Wow.
Because they knew he was a snitch.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You know, they do the snitches, dude.
Stitches, dude. Well, actually, they just die. No stitches. They
Stitch
just
him up
die.
for the open casket funeral.
They said the entire unit, that area was alerted that Whitey Bulger was coming to that unit.
Wow.
Because everybody was already fucking ready to go.
Everybody was in it, yeah.
Probably wronged a lot of people, that Whitey Bulger guy.
Damn, can you imagine that? Like the second you get transferred and you're dead within 12 hours.
Seems like it never ends well for informants.
Yeah, dude. It took him 7 minutes to kill an 89-year-old man, dude.
He lived way longer than he should have being an informant. He would have been dead way sooner.
Because then you sell out all your homies and then... But you buy some time. And he died at 89.
He was like, worth it. Kill me. Bludgeon me.
At 89... You know, and the guys that are killing him are, I'm hoping that they're senior citizens too. So it's
One's 55.
In the senior ward.
Oh no, they're actually old too. Take this, you freaking rat!
One of them, Freddie Gayas, 55. McKinnon is 36.
that takes the fun out.
Young guns.
36, 28, 55.
Elder abuse, dude. That's fucked up.
Well, it only took 6-7 minutes. So
That's how long it
Guy's
took.
a rat, though.
I think I can kill an 89-year-old man way faster, dude.
Yeah,
Wow.
maybe they.
If he was a rat and I was a mobster.
If he was a rat. Not a regular 89-year-old.
but at that point, do you want to kill him fast though? You know what I mean?
That's true.
I think it's a different mentality. in that place.
That's true.
In jail, you have a limited amount of time to get the job
Someone
done.
got a stopwatch, like, all right, ready?
Yeah. In jail, they like have a shaved off pen. They're just using it to stab 80 times in order to make sure it works.
Ouch.
It was probably meant to be a stabbing, but it was too blunt.
I don't want to be dying from a fucking shaved toothbrush.
yeah.
dipped in shit. You know they like dip it in shit.
Yeah.
So that you get
infections.
you get infected.
On top of dying,
Yeah. Well, because if you live, then they want you to like
live with
Suffer.
the pink eye.
Some caca on you, dude.
Jesus, they shove it up their buttholes on accident instead of dipping in the shit. That's
They're like, you know, there's an easy way to do that, Frank.
Why gotta be Frank? Why can't it be Tony?
Dang, do we know any of any other Notorious other than fucking like Epstein, but like anybody else who?
B.I.G.
Well, I kind of different thought, but I always wanted to see a happy ending crime story because they always end so sad. You know, like what about the
What, the
guys?
crime they get away? That's
Yeah, what about the guys that had a life of crime, and then you know
D.B. Cooper,
they
that's one.
maybe they opened up a bakery and changed their lives, and then they live happily ever after.
a lot of them still do.
Bakery.
But there's never any movies like that because
D.B. Cooper.
the movies always are like, oh, you gotta fucking make sure that the criminal is caught at the end.
What about Leo from Catch Me If You Can, dude? He works for the FBI now.
Oh, he's still a rat.
He's gonna have dying like this guy, 89.
There's that one documentary with the two Goodfellas guys. So like Ray Liotta, you know how he ratted, and then Robert De Niro wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And then I saw this documentary. So he wanted to kill him, and then I saw this documentary where they reunited those two, and they're both like 70 something now, and then they're just like walking in New York and they're just playing chess, and he's like, "Hey, do you forgive me?" "I forgive you, man." And I was like,
That was real?
"Yeah, it was
the
real."
character?
The two real ones they based the character on. They're like, "Fuck it."
Sound like Mike Tyson.
No, that's
Talking to Mike
tight.
Tyson.
That's tight.
Yeah, I was like, "Damn, that's really cool."
And then later on, the documented cameras turn off.
Like,
Stabs him with a shit fork.
yeah.
Dude,
I want to see one where it's like a dude never like went to jail. He did a life of crime. He was tremendously successful, fucking happy family, and then he retires. Now he's in Florida playing cards with his friends, and it's a good fucking wholesome story.
do you guys know the story of D.B. Cooper?
Like that.
Sorry.
D.B. Cooper in the 60s, he hijacked a plane and there was a ransom for money. They paid it to him. He skydove out of the plane and they never found him.
Oh, I do know who you're talking
That's D.B.
about.
Cooper, yeah. And then the guy that has the highest likelihood of being him was a guy that just like lived his life totally.
You don't
normal
know,
and
but no one knows who that is.
it couldn't be confirmed because when they found the guy who was highest likely to be him, they were trying to press him to admit it, but he never would fully admit it. And he was just a dude that lived on in the marina fixing boats, just a fucking great life. He's an old man.
Yeah.
And they connected it to the point where like this is it might not be, but it's the highest. And then right before they could get him to admit it, he just passed away of natural shit.
Is that in the documentary? That was on Netflix?
Yeah, it's really good. You should watch it. Yeah.
That's a good feel-good story. You know what I mean?
Bro, he didn't hurt anybody.
He didn't hurt anybody. Yeah, he just like
Yeah,
got the money.
it's a
and
good
just out,
heist.
yeah.
That is different. We did an article here about like there's this dude who successfully he was like one of the accomplices to one of the huge mafia crime lords or whatever. He's like in the
In
top
like Italy or some shit, right?
Yeah, and then
he got
like,
popped.
moves to Spain and he opens like a vegetable shop and he's doing produce for like 30 years and then a Google Maps like car or some shit drives by, gets a photo of him and then it registers into the fucking database.
That's fate, bro. That's he fucked up
But
somewhere
it,
down the
was
line.
like 40 years later, he had like 2 daughters or some shit. I don't remember, but yeah.
That's how you got by Google Maps, bro. That sucks.
Well, now everybody's doing. We were just talking about this 2 weeks ago, but DNA now, right? Everybody who kept DNA samples from the 70s, 80s, or whatever. Now they can fucking Ancestry.com that shit and be like, you did kill this person.
Even with no priors, you can still get pinched today. That's crazy.
He's like, hey, that was you.
Yeah.
We have proof. Ah, you got me.
Science,
You
huh?
got me. Freaking science.
I want these guys to get away.
All the murderers too?
They're just old and happy now, you know.
I don't think they're happy.